what happened to the left where they are willing to? There's something that happened where they became the side that accepts censorship and even promotes it. And my thought is that something morphed during the time where social media became a tool of a lot of right-wing people. And this is actually like pre-Trump, but was certainly accentuated during the Trump administration. It's like people had a chance to anonymously say things through social media that maybe they wouldn't say around the office because, like, say if you have like 10 people in your office and 9 of them are Democrats and you're a Republican, you really have to keep your mouth shut, right? But when you get on Twitter, you can talk all kinds of crazy shit, or Reddit or whatever, and then all the other people that agree with you, they get attracted to you, and then you form these echo chambers, and then some of them are very aggressive in sort of pushing these ideas out. And we saw that a lot with like Milo Yiannopoulos, and there was a lot of like these like very influential online right-wing people that were, you know, they had like cheers from the fans, and they had like these throngs of supporters, and they silenced those guys. They pulled those guys off social media, and they found out that it was effective to do that. And then it became a thing that they got really into, where they're into silencing dissenting opinions. And it's gone so far that they're doing it to left-wing people that step even remotely outside of the bounds of the orthodoxy, remotely outside of the bounds of what they consider to be the rigid maintaining of this ideology. When they step outside of that, they silence people. And they're pulling videos down left and right off of Instagram and TikTok and Twitter in some ways. Twitter's like less censorship oriented, even though people think of Twitter as being like a very censored place. It's one of the more lenient online platforms. But what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I mean, the Milo case is interesting actually, because I think that I mean, I understand that like he got kicked off of Twitter and that was definitely part of it, but like he was still riding pretty high after that happened. Like I think that in Milo's case, and this is what, you know, when I, you know, kind of try to tell people that like the ways that like some people on the left like want to like deal with figures like this, like forget morality for a second. They're just not going to work, right? So like here's what I mean by that, right? That like Milo's career was built on people trying to like, you know, stop him and heckle him and, you know, stop him from speaking and all that stuff, you know, that like my view on that guy is that honestly, you know, he wouldn't be that interested if he just showed up on a college campus and like just talked and nobody interrupted him. But like that was why, like, because he was like, oh, he's like speaking edgy, forbidden truths. And like, you know, it was the Dangerous Ideas Tour. That's what it was called. Like, I think where Milo really got dropped, like where Milo like was really ended. Right. And I'm not saying there aren't other cases that are more like what you're talking about, but it seems to me that where Milo was really ended was when the right dropped him after the age of consent stuff. Like he was going to speak at CPAC and they canceled that. His book deal, you know, got dropped. But
it wasn't just the right dropping him. I mean, that was across the board. People dropped him.
Well, I mean, everybody else had always hated him, right? But then, like after that happened, right? You know,
that was just a thing where it felt like it was so unacceptable to so many people.
Yeah,
that it's very rare that one idea becomes a thing that completely stops all the momentum that someone had. Like he was a very popular cultural figure, and then he vanished.
Yeah,
like has essentially been not just deplatformed, but removed from the cultural conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like a week before that happened, he was on Bill Maher, right? You know, that's so.
No, isn't that wild?
Yeah,
and Bill Maher was praising him and comparing him to Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah, which I
wild.
Do not think Milo Yiannopoulos deserves. But yeah, look, I think that. I mean, I think that there are a couple things going on there with with censorship. I mean, I would push back a little on the idea, you know, that the right isn't like plenty pro censorship in lots of ways. Like I think they.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, well,
I think
so. We disagree on.
No, I think that people politically like to silence their opposing. Or their opposition. When someone opposes their position, I think they like to do that. What I think is like the left is traditionally been the ACLU, which those Jewish lawyers supported the idea of Nazis being allowed to say whatever they want because they said that the counter to that, the opposite of that, is the suppressing speech, and it's a terrible, dangerous road to go down. And the answer to bad ideas is not silencing those ideas; it's better ideas. That's my position, and that's an old school liberal position. But that doesn't exist that much in the left wing of today.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% my position. I think that, and I think that it's really dangerous that a lot of people, like, even though most of the stuff you're talking about is driven more by like mainstream liberals, that like it's not like, whatever, people running like these insanely profitable social media companies, right? It's not like they want all the stuff I want, right?
Right.
But I see way too many people on the left going along with it, and I think it's super short-sighted, right? Because like,
how did it happen though? Do you think it happened by what I'm saying, that like they found it was effective for silencing people they felt was problematic, so they just adopted these ideas and then they sort of shifted their ethics?
I think there's some of that. I think that a lot of it is that a lot of people feel powerless to change the world in any way that actually matters, and so they end up getting sucked into these like culture war distractions